My fellow citizens, this video will teach you how to escape the constitutional riptide we are currently in. This is an illustration that is used to help people learn how to escape riptides. And basically what you want to do is you don't want to fight the riptide. If you try to swim against it, you may end up tiring and you may end up not being able to even swim to the shore. So what you want to do is actually go with the riptide. It will pull you quickly uh, out towards the sea, but usually also somewhat parallel to the coast. And what you want to do is go with it until it loses its energy, and then you're going to want to swim to the side, and then once you get out of the rip current, swim back to the shore. Here is a similar illustration, and in it you can see how you have feeder water coming in towards the pool of water that's next to the beach. And once the sandbanks have basically a hole in them, the water underneath that you can't see will end up start moving very quickly. And if you're in that area, it's going to pull you out. So now I'm going to show you how we are in a constitutional riptide. At the Constitutional Convention in 1787, Alexander Hamilton left us this quote: "Bad principles in a government, though slow, are sure in their operation, and will gradually destroy it." Why can't we just amend? James Madison in Federalist number 43 left us this: "Article 5 of the Constitution guards equally against that extreme facility which would render the Constitution too mutable." He's saying here, uh, guards against being too easy to change, and that extreme difficulty which might perpetuate its known faults. The problem is that Madison was incorrect. Here is a visual image of the defect in Article 5. There is no way to start the convention. Even if 2/3 of the state legislatures vote to start the convention, there are no rules for how many people get to go. What is the ratio of representation? And so therefore, you're in a feedback loop. Here's a simpler illustration. The Article 5 convention cannot begin without rules of representation for the convention. But only the Article 5 convention has the power to set the rules of representation for the convention. Therefore, the convention cannot begin. So now you can start putting things together. You now know that there's a defect in the Constitutional Convention Clause itself, and that has allowed various need for constitutional amendment to build and build and build. And so if you look at it from the perspective of a rip current, it's building by the shore, in behind that sandbank that you don't see under the water. Eventually, it's going to break through. There's going to be a breach through that sand, and you're going to have a rip current. And at that point, you have to swim with the current towards constitutional amendment, or you're going to lose the whole system. In this illustration, you see the Article 5 convention is the head of the rip current. In other words, the part of the ocean where the rip current basically takes you. And to swim to safety, you must first swim away from shore and towards the Article 5 convention. Get your constitutional amendments done, and then you're able to swim safely back to shore. Just like a riptide, don't fight against the Constitutional Convention. The reason the Constitutional Riptide has formed is because we do need constitutional amendment, and the pressure of that has been building up for years because the Constitutional Convention Clause itself is defective. Once we get past that barrier, we will be able to make the amendments and get the system back on track. So you need to go with it, fight for change, fight for the amendments before the fight against amendments saps our strength and pulls us under the water.